really hate making these videos. So there's another viral video of a blue gang member tasing a man, not resisting, approaching a man, not doing anything, minding his own business. The actual literal didn't do nothing type of person. And you know, I've always been making statements about, you know, the Lisa Edwards incident, on how there was just nothing but crickets. And what I'm getting to is that, look, this is not about race. This is about incompetency. This is about cops. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, that viral video of the blue gang female who tased a man, called him a B word and everything, all because he was standing up defending for his rights and whatnot. And it's like ID is cracked to cops. We got a call means I can do whatever I want. I'm justified to do whatever I want, instead of do a legal investigation of what's going on here. Because if you don't see a crime when you get a call, then you investigate legally with the laws and the Constitution. This whole being so handsy and violent and assaultive, this is doing nothing but causing lawsuits after lawsuits where the taxpayers have to foot the bill for it. And people are sick of it. I mean, yeah, I did make the I did make that George Floyd video many years ago, where I believed, even right now, I still believe it's wrong, because they shouldn't have been. Well, the guy who leaned on his neck for over 8 minutes should not have been charged with murder. He should have been charged with manslaughter and gross negligence, because there was no intent to kill him. I mean, it was obvious that he was high off his rocker. But it's like no one's learned their lesson. None of these officers have learned their lessons. And what's even more infuriating is that it becomes crickets when we see white people be victims of police brutality. Like I said in the beginning, Lisa Edwards. If anyone remembers who that person is, it was only about a year later, after George Floyd's incident, that a group of cops had tried to take this woman to jail. She was a woman suffering from asthma and a broken ankle. And she was kicked out of the hospital because she was being very impatient due to the fact that no one would see her. And so the hospital staff called the police on her because she couldn't leave. And she begged, pleaded, said she couldn't breathe. She made basically the George Floyd talking points of that whole incident, saying like, "You're gonna kill me. I need my inhaler." That's what she was practically begging someone to save her. Just as much as George Floyd was. Now, George Floyd, he's a lot of things that ain't positive, but he didn't deserve to die. And I don't know much on the life of Lisa Edwards. I mean, no one's really put any 2 cents into it, which is sad and messed up. If people really want change, they really have to unite, stand together, and demand change. This whole, we got to say something when it happens to black people. No, it's not just happening to black people, it's happening to white people. I mean, hell, a Florida man was tackled to the ground a couple of months or weeks ago, just for walking around his own neighborhood at 3 a.m. So what? Hey, I like to walk walk and jog around my neighborhood, my home. Hell, I get home around 3 a.m., sometimes 2 a.m. due to my late night work. And somehow, instead of, trying to figure out without being so handsy, you tackle some white guy who's barefoot in pajamas outside 3 in the morning, all because he could be a burglar. It's like they don't have common sense anymore. It's like when you become a police officer, you lose all common sense. And the excuse of, we get a call, this is for our safety, or when an officer, or the ID thing. It's these actions, these things that they're doing, has constantly violated the same laws over and over again, no matter which city or state they're in. The same rights, the same policies. And we only do something about it when a black person becomes a victim of it. Needs to stop. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, Mexican, Latino, or Asian. If there's wrong happening, we need to unite. We need to start doing something about it. It does not matter your race or skin color. Police brutality does not discriminate. I mean, hell, there was the old man again in Florida who was walking down on the sidewalk, minding his own business. A female cop stops him because she thinks she sees a gun in his back pocket, and he shows her that it's not a gun; it's a walking stick. Because he's legally blind. And then a supervisor gets on, not knowing what's going on, and they still ID him, violate his rights, then try to charge him with resisting. I mean, look, if you want an answer, some of y'all might not like it, but here's my answer to this solution. We need a neutral third-party government organization. Excuse me, my nose a little stuffy. But yeah, like I said, we need a neutral third-party government organization who has authority over police, no matter what their position is, whether they're just a desk officer, to a supervisor, to a sergeant, hell, even to the chief of police. They are over them. Now, a deputy, now a sheriff, that's going to be a little bit different because they're elected. But we need something like that. A hands-on government organization that enforces the Constitution, police standards, and policies and standards, where if a police officer is getting out of hand and out of control, they have the authority and power to physically, verbally stop them. That's what we need. Because if we just got some guy standing there in the background saying, no, stop, don't, and the officer's still doing the act, what good is that person? They need to be hands-on and physical. And if an officer tries something with one of these agents, it's no investigation, just flat-out termination. No. It's just that this boils my blood. As someone who's pro-constitutional, as someone who lives as a law-abiding citizen, to see your rights get trampled, all for a nothing burger, all because this guy wants to be an ego power trip. And what's even more infuriating is that I have police buddies, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Latino, all a mixed diverse of police buddies, because of where I used to live and how I would always say hello, hi. Sometimes I'd even give them pay for a coffee or a water bottle for them. And, we'd have some conversations about, what's going on with their police force. And they'd say, one cop even said, I don't even do anything anymore. anymore, because of how messed up it's gotten. Our reputation's in the gutter. No one cares about it, and all I do is just keep my head down. If I see someone speeding, I just say, "I hope you crash." That's what he said to me. I mean, an officer who has no will or motivation to be the difference maker, or to even try to prove that, not all cops are this bad, has just decided to do nothing, because the bad apples are protected and the good apples get tossed into the shredder to be thrown away. This needs to stop. This needs to be fixed and corrected. I mean, and if we really want to hit them where it hurts the most, like I said, one way is a government organization that's hands-on with police, that has authority of all police officers. And when it comes to sheriffs, well, they just write a huge list of reports of what the sheriff has done, what the deputies have done, who the sheriff has refused to fire based on the recommendation of termination, and he shares it with the people. He lets the people know what the sheriff has done, and what his deputies have been doing, and what action he has chosen to do or not to do or refuse to do for deputies' bad behavior. Because an informed public is a scary public for people, for not just politicians, but for our law enforcement agencies. And we need to have like I said, a hands-on style, third-party investigation style organization where, they get the body cameras. There's no muting mics anymore. If police are caught fabricating and making false statements, they're not only put on the list, but they should be fired, because they can't be trusted as a law agent. Because if they're going to write something differently that doesn't match what's on the body camera, why keep them employed? Another thing is, hit them where it hurts the most. Their wallets, their checks. Because this organization that I have thought of, plan should be the prevention of lawsuits, which is why they should be hands-on. And if a failure of preventing a lawsuit happens, let it come out of the police officer's check, garnish his wages. And if the union wants to defend these bad apples by rehiring them and putting them back on the force, let the unions pay for everything. And by everything, I mean let the lawsuits come out of the union's pocket. Let the attorney fees come out of the union's pockets. If it's not enough to just garnish the entire wages of a police force. And that's all I've got to say. Like I keep saying, enough is enough. Fix this problem. And if, let's say, no one shares this video, let's say, no wait, let me rephrase that. Let's say this video gets shared, and the ideas that I've laid out here are spread, and it reaches the eyes and ears of politicians, and they all say no to it. Well then, hey, you know who to vote for next time, and who not to vote for. That's all I've got to say. Thank you and good night.